Good evening, everyone, and we'll call this September 25th regular council meeting to order. First of all, could I have a motion, please, to adopt the agenda as presented? Thank you. Councillor Yanish, seconded by Councillor Vroba. Any further questions or comments? All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Under original communications, delegations, and petitions this evening, we have none. Under written reports of committees this evening, we have none. Under executive reports, we have from Public Works, the 3/4 minus gravel tender.
Did you accept the minutes?
Ooh, I think I jumped a minute, sorry. Could I now have a motion, please, thank you, City Clerk, to accept the minutes of the council meeting held on September 11th. Councillor Hoffert, thank you. Councillor Moore, any further questions or anything on that one? If not, all in favor? Carried. Thank you. So, as I mentioned, nothing under original communications, delegations, and petitions, nothing under written reports of committees. Under executive reports, we have the Public Works 3/4 inch minus gravel tender. So we have the recommendation. The recommendation is the 3/4 minus gravel tender be awarded to Peterson Construction of Estevan for $18 per cubic meter to supply and deliver 2,500 cubic yards to the City of Estevan Maintenance Yard. The total of this purchase is $45,000 before applicable taxes. The stockpile of 3/4 inch minus gravel is entered into the city stores inventory and is charged out to various jobs in many departments citywide throughout the years. So what's the wish of council on this tender? Councillor Moore. Okay, acceptance and approval. Thank you, seconder. Thank you, Councillor Frank. Okay, any questions on that? All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Then under executive reports, we have from the city clerk, community grants and city funding policy, 2017-66. So we're just trying to streamline the policies and procedures manual. The purpose is to fund and partner with community nonprofit or charitable organizations to deliver programs, projects, and services that align with the city's strategic priorities, have a clear community impact, and respond to current and future community needs. The scope, this policy applies to all nonprofit organizations in Estevan who apply for city funding. The Community Grants Program funds organizations preset yearly budget constraints. So we have the community partner, up to 3 years of core operation and core program funding to organizations that play a strategic and essential role in Estevan. Financial statement, they'll have to have audited report completed by external professional accounting organizations. Hosting as well, funding for organizations up to $100,000 for sanctioned amateur championship events at the provincial, Western, Canadian, national, or international level being held in Estevan. For example, Summer Games, Western Canada Cup, Curling Briars, etc. Special events, funding for organizations up to $10,000 for one-time and first-time events that celebrate, preserve, and enhance Estevan's identity by commemorating notable people, places, events, symbols, and anniversaries or reoccurring local events that promote the values of citizenship and identify on nationally recognized days, including Canada Day, National Aboriginal Day, and Remembrance Day. And the other sponsorships, funding for organization up to $5,000 for new or unique one-time events that contribute to building community pride and encouraging community interaction and spirit. Eligibility, only registered nonprofit or charitable organizations are eligible for community partner funding. Where organizations are offering the same or similar type programming, the city will only fund one organization that aligns with the city's strategic priorities. Organizations with similar mandates are encouraged to develop partnerships to maximize resources and available funding. All events or programs must take place in the City of Estevan to be eligible. So, what's the wish of council on our new policies and procedures manual? Councillor Moore.
Thank you, Worship. I just wonder if we shouldn't add in somewhere where we would encourage whoever is asking for a grant or dollars, that we would like to see them do what they can to raise the money, and then we could put a line in there saying we would match what they raise, just to encourage them to try and put some funds together themselves. And I guess this would be for smaller groups that that have the membership to do such a thing, and then we would, to a degree, say we'll match it. You raise 5, we'll match it with 5, and
up to a certain limit.
Up to a certain level. And I don't know. I think that would have to fit into the top portion of this agreement, but somewhere I think that should be in there.
Okay. City Clerk, would you like to expound on that, or what's your thoughts on that?
Completely up to you. This is what was presented to you a couple of months ago, and so we just brought it forward to actually do formal passing. But if you want to add that into it, it's not a problem doing that.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Moore. We can do that. Councillor Hoffert, then Councillor Vrova.
Yeah, thank you, Your Worship. I hadn't thought of it before, but I like what Councillor Moore is saying a lot. It puts some onus on some organizations to make the effort to do things in a self-sustaining manner, and where we can support, that's great. The worst thing you can do is make someone totally dependent on us, and then where is the incentive to do the work? So I really like that, and would recommend we take a real serious look at that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Vrova.
Thank you, Your Worship. And when we originally had talked about this, I thought this policy was more for the requests under $5,000, and that, okay, so when it says in here with the Community Grant Review Committee, that would just be the committee that would actually review the grant. Let's say for $100,000 for the Western Canada Cup or anything like that, that would come back to council still?
Yeah,
Just
anything under, over 5.
And anything under 5,000 would just be done? Yeah. Okay,
within, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, no problem. Any other comments? So perhaps, Councillor Moore, would you like to make that motion, that be added into the policy?
Yes, I would, Your Worship.
Okay, thank you. Seconded by Councillor Hoffert. Any further discussion?
Just a quick question. Okay. In the last, under community grants and review, there may be a typo. I just wondered for clarification there. It's comprised of the city manager, city controller, mayor, and who?
Yeah, I think that was a typo. I noticed that as well.
So we can clarify that in the final draft as well.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. Okay, all in favor? Carried. Thank you. Next, under introduction of bylaws, we have none this evening. Public hearings and reports, we have none. Although we do have that annexation hearing coming up on Thursday. Hopefully everyone can make that. I believe, City Clerk, that's 7 o'clock at the multi-purpose room at Affinity. So hopefully most people that are interested can attend that. Giving notice, we have Waste Reduction Week in Canada. Whereas the City of Estevan recognizes October 16th to 22nd, 2017 as Waste Reduction Week in Canada. And whereas as a municipality, we are committed to conserving resources, protecting the environment, and educating the community. And whereas we recognize the generation of solid waste and needless waste of water and energy resources as global environmental problems and endeavor to take the lead in our community toward environmental sustainability. Be it therefore resolved, I, Roy Ludwig, Mayor of the City of Estevan, do hereby proclaim October 16th to 22nd, 2017 to be Waste Reduction Week in Canada and also in the City of Estevan. I urge all residents of the City of Estevan to recognize this week. Could we have a motion, please, to that effect? Councillor Frank, thank you. Second, Councillor Yanish. Any further questions or comments? All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Next, we have motions from committee this evening. We have none. Consideration of bylaws, we have none. Inquiries, Councillor Hoffer.
Thank you, Your Worship. I have an inquiry and a couple comments. My inquiry is relating to the new fire hall project. I just wondered if through the city manager and yourself, we could get an update as to the expenditures versus budget, as well as the readiness or the projected move-in date and any other information we could get. So that's one inquiry. I also wanted to just mention
The move-in date, if I could, Councillor Hoffer, the move-in date, they're looking at, not to be in a rush, probably the end of October.
okay.
Because, yeah, last time I talked, he thought the end of October. Did you hear something different?
October 5th, we were going to try and be ready to move that.
Yeah, but he thought it might be too rushed.
Okay.
So they're talking, we said, take your time, don't be in a rush. So they're talking the end of October.
Okay, so that's good. That's progressing. The other thing, in your at your request, I attended, Your Worship, the provincial high school opening ceremonies at Woodlawn Golf Course this weekend, and in spite of a little bit of rain, they persevered, and so it was a good event. Thank you for the invitation. Happy to report both the boys and girls teams competitions were won by Estevan Comprehensive School, so we're in great shape. We got a
They have a
credit
great
to the
program.
city manager who's on the executive there, and the junior program at Woodlawn is second to none under Amanda Mitchen's leadership. So that's a great thing. That was good for our community. I also, as you're aware, we hosted our city committee, hosted the Living Skies Air Show at the Estevan Regional Airport a couple weeks ago. And it was a wonderful success, great crowds, great day, very entertaining, well-run. We had several city staff members provide a great deal of effort to this. City manager, city clerk, city treasurer were all there. Becky Westling did an enormous amount of work for us on short notice, advertising, posters, promotion, and so we want to thank her greatly, as well as Diane Wenham at the food services was instrumental as well. Our committee there was, the co-chair was Richard Reitz, Doug Blue from the Arm of Estevan, Neil Lithicum and Stu McMurtry are a couple of local pilots who were did yeoman's work pulling this off. Diane Wenham was the food chair and Jeff Ward was the finance chair, and so just a great event, really high caliber event, and hopefully with the success of it we'll look forward to something like that in the future down the road. I know there was questions about the financial ability to pull this off, and happy to report we're reporting a small profit on the event. So I know David Wilberg with the Estevan Mercury asked a couple questions early on. What are we going to do if we don't make enough money to pull off a financial success, and what are we going to do if it rains? And our answer was we are going to balance the books on this one, and it never rains on September 17th. And so fortunately we were right on both counts, David, so thanks for your interest and your coverage of the event. Appreciate it. Also to the radio station, they were instrumental in the advertising of that. So anyway, want to thank all of our sponsors, and we'll be doing some public sponsor acknowledgement of that event in the very near future. So that's all I have. Thank you, Your Worship.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Hoffert, and yes, thank you for standing in down at the golf course for me, and we do thank Amanda Minchin and all of her associates for all the work they do. They have a great program down there. And also the show, it's much to be commended, everyone, yourself, Richard, and all of our city staff, and there was a lot of them that were involved, did a fantastic job. And it's always nice to suggest or to come out with something like this with a small profit. So that was awesome. Councillor Vroba?
Thank you, Your Worship. I too have just two things. Basically, first of all, the Estevan Business Showcase was on this weekend. It was fabulous. So the Chamber of Commerce did an amazing job and all the hard work. And I actually stopped by a few booths with some local businesses that I actually have not got a chance to get to. And I plan on getting there in the very near future just by hearing what they had to offer at the showcase. So I highly recommend attending that next year as a business and then also as a spectator or consumer. The other thing is I just wondered about the city manager for the 4th Avenue lights, where we are on that, or if we are moving forward this year or waiting until spring.
Council Brobo, we instructed Adam, they have SAS Power doing that right now for the initial first phase. We're still looking at some initial mapping in regards to utilities on the second phase moving south. Norm Mack is looking into where those lights can be located, and we'll have a report back on that for next meeting.
Perfect. And I said two, but I actually had three things, because the other thing was I noticed a lot of the city crews out this week with the manhole covers, and they were digging around them and then just basically doing some work and filling them in. I just
Getting
was
ready for
wondering-
winter, yeah.
Is that, okay, I was wondering what they were doing. I was going to ask, but I thought I'd ask here.
Yeah,
Thanks.
no problem. Thank you, Councillor Vroba. And thank you, Councillor Moore. I know you do a lot of work at Showcase, and all the Rotary members do as well. So we'd like to thank Rotary for another successful event. Well done. Maybe you'll say a few words when we get around to you. Thank you, Councillor Vroba. Councillor Yanish, nothing this evening? Trudy, our controller, nothing? Okay. Nothing as well. Councillor Frank, okay. Councillor Moore?
Thank you, Worship, and thank you for allowing me to attend the art concept and framing business in their new location. We're very fortunate as a city and the surrounding area to have somebody of that talent in art and framing. It's a business that's used quite a bit, and they do really, really good work. It was a good turnout of customers and friends, and they did a nice job of the building. So congratulations to them, and I'm sure they'll be here for a long time because they've got a lot more room now to display their product, to bring in other people to help promote their product. So it was a good opening, and we wish them the best.
Good, thank you, Councillor Moore, for standing in. And again, we wish Teresa the very best. She's had a great business and continues to do so in our community. So I hope to get down there next week and have a look around. So thanks again.
And as far as Showcase, it pleases us to see the same people come back time and time again. I believe that was number 17, of which the board that I started with, we've been operating for 10 years as a unit. And because of the economy right now, the booths, we didn't have as many as we normally would have, but the ones we had were very aggressive, and they enjoy Estevan because we treat them right. We give them coffee and dainties all the time they're here, and they let us know that nobody else does that. We're the only city that lays out the format like that, and they appreciate it. So we've gotten to know a lot of them, and and they'll be back next year. All we got to do is build on what we had. So
Okay.
it was a
great.
success as far as we're concerned. And the three of us at the Chamber and the Lions and the Rotary, we work well together, and it goes over really, really good. So
Super.
yeah, thanks.
Thank you. And thank you, Jackie. You're here tonight for all your efforts. Did you have anything to add?
No, it was a great event, and it's really a pleasure to work with the Lions and the Rotary, and all the money raised goes back to the community. So I think the community really needs to hear that money is given out in many initiatives through organizations. So.
Good point. Thank you for that, Jackie. Okay, City Manager, anything else this evening?
Nothing
No?
yet, Your Worship.
Okay, City Clerk? Okay, I guess Councillor Yanish?
Sorry, Your Worship, just one thing. Happy birthday today to the mayor.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you for that. 39. Yeah, 39, I wish. Anyway, thank you for the thoughts and the comments. And could we have a motion, please, to move into committee? Thank you. Councillor Yanish, seconded by Councillor Vroba. All in favor? Carried. Thank you and good night.